Number 6, the best team in Utah by far. Well, I don't know after this game, but they deserve it. Best team in Utah, BYU, number 6.
This doesn't hit
Congratulations to
quite
the
as
Cougars
right.
after beating my Utes 22-21
At home, too.
at home in Rice Eccles. We were both there for the game.
And they fought.
Hey, there definitely could have been a lot of fights at that game, but it's a rivalry
Yep.
game, man. That's. I mean, sometimes that's just what happens. Some people win without class, people lose without class. And I don't think if either side won, either side. I mean, I seen BYU fans pulling shit.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Utah fans pulling shit when they thought they had won the game. It's a huge, deep rooted rivalry game. So that stuff's gonna happen.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Couch Potatoes. I am your host, Jay Cubs, joined as always by Feisty and Big Country making his big return. Glad to have you back, buddy. And Feisty, I know you're good at the intros, but I want to give you good at the intros. Clearly, I'm not. It's your thing, but I want to give you one. And still, number 1, Oregon. Go into it, buddy. How did the game go this week?
Yeah, I mean, let me just take a sip of this green monster. Just the colors that we played with this week, the green and yellow, super sick. Maryland, man, we played against Maryland. There was the final score of 39-18. Um, it was funny because at the beginning of this game, we go down. They scored, I think, a field goal. And then we scored a touchdown. Or no, we scored a touchdown, and then they scored a field goal. And the announcers are like, you know what? Maryland came to play this game. They don't look like they're gonna be a soft team, and they're not gonna just kind of roll over and submit to the Ducks. And so it was kind of a funny story. And then after they said that, Oregon just started blowing them out of the water. Second half came, great game. I think overall we played really well as far as a team game. It just felt like the Ducks just couldn't do anything wrong on defense. We were playing really well. Again, Yvonne Stewart became really big. He's starting to pick up on where we're missing Tez Johnson with his shoulder and injury and stuff. And so it was a really good game. Darren Gabriels ended up throwing 183 yards total, 3 tuds. Noah Winnington kind of was the main running guy this week. I don't know what happened to Jordan James. They didn't really say why he wasn't getting a whole lot of touches, but he just was kind of more sidelined. Noah Winnington ended up getting a 77 yards, 13 carries. Overall, great game. Nothing to really talk about. Maryland was always going to be a team that just kind of got rolled over. And so Oregon looks like the big thing that the announcers really did get head on was when they said Oregon looks good. Out of the top teams that they've been playing, they've been the most consistent. They've been showing that they can do and go with the top dogs and beat them, go into their house. And it just continues to look like we're just growing as a team together. Like I said, Dan Lanning is just doing something amazing over there. And so I'm excited to see. We just have a few teams left for the season. So we have Wisconsin left, and then this week, and then Washington. So Wisconsin should be a better test for them. Washington's kind of struggling, so I don't think it's going to be as a big of a test. But that Wisconsin game, especially being in Wisconsin, I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. That tips off at 5:30 this weekend. But hey, I literally said at the beginning of the season, what did I say? I don't think they're worth the third overall spot. And now they're up at the number one and continue to prove that. And I think it was just a wake up call that they needed, especially after beating that rival Oregon State. Those Beavers didn't know what hit them. And ever since then, I don't think we've turned back. And it's looking really good. And what's his name? Ferguson's looking like he's a prominent tight end that could play in the NFL. So it's just overall really, really good team win. Not really much to celebrate or give big shout outs to.
Yeah, you guys are just, chugging along, right? And I think we talked about it last week where you got to just make sure that your boys stay ready. And I think Dan Lanning's the perfect guy to make sure they stay ready. Give Dylan Gabriel a little bit of flowers here because he became the all-time leader in
Yeah.
touchdowns responsible for with 180 career touchdowns. So, and he's the only FBS quarterback to have 20 touchdown passes in 5 different seasons. Those stats, man, they tell me this dude's been playing for like 8-9 years, something like that is what it sounds like to me.
Hey, the way
And
that they did it
I
really
mean, but
quick.
I just wanted to say, just to play that long and stay in college that long, he's got to be making a lot of money, right? Like a
Anyway, that's why
lot
I was
of
trying to
money.
skip that part. That's why I was trying to skip that part. No, I mean the way that they did it was actually funny because they threw it to a lineman. It was one of those trick plays, and the lineman actually ended up getting the touchdown. And then they went for 2 for the field goal, and it was like a sneak to basically a lineman again. And they were just having fun in this game, and
Playing with their
it
food, huh?
doesn't matter how much Dylan Gabriel makes because Cam Rising still makes 2.6 million a year. So
Got the exact total. Doesn't matter other than that. No, man,
hey,
you
our guy is
guys
proving
are
it.
looking good. And we'll have to see, man. You guys are clearly in that Big Ten championship, I think. Ohio State, the other team we're kind of looking at, number 2 after defeating Purdue 45-0. And I think this is going to set up for who's going to join you in the Big Ten championship because guess who they have this week? That would be, nope, not this week.
No, it's the
In
week
2
after.
weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks they have, and I'll just say it, skip a little bit here, but number 5, Indiana. Getting some respect finally, bro. I've been talking about them all year. They defeated Michigan 20-15, so that was awesome to see there. So yeah, I think winner of that game joins you in the Big Ten. I think Ohio State is probably going to win that game still.
Yeah.
I think Indiana just really hasn't played anybody. I mean, like I said, they beat Michigan 20-15, and that's probably their like toughest opponent, and the scoreboard shows that. So be interesting, but I think Indiana's got a good shot. I don't think it's going to be a walk-away game by any means. I'm rooting for them. I'm pulling for them. So be interesting to see. Number 3 is Texas. They defeated Florida 49-17. Penn State is number 4. They defeated Washington 35-6. So really killed them. And then I will give this to you, Wes. All right. You deserve it. So I will say it this week. I'll keep the introduction train rolling
Oh.
just out of respect.
Oh, this is hold on, Wes. Make sure you're recording this because you may never get this.
Number 6, the best team in Utah by far. Well, I don't know after this game, but they deserve it. Best team in Utah, BYU, number 6.
This doesn't hit
Congratulations to
quite
the
as
Cougars
right.
after beating my Utes 22-21
At home too.
at home in Rice Eccles. We were both there for the game.
And they fought.
Hey, there definitely could have been a lot of fights at that game, but it's a rivalry
Yep.
game, man. That's. I mean, sometimes that's just what happens. Some people win without class, people lose without class. And I don't think if either side won, either side. I mean, I seen BYU fans pulling shit.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Utah fans pulling shit when they thought they had won the game. It's a huge, deep rooted rivalry game. So that stuff's gonna happen. But I got to give a little bit of credit to the U. They definitely had their best game, I think, of the year.
I think so.
I do got to say, though, I think it is a rivalry game. So I think those games always come out a little closer. They're always more hard fought.
Home
There's a
field
lot more.
advantage too is
Yeah,
going to
there's
play a huge factor in that.
Yeah, usually those games do come out a little bit closer, and I definitely did not like the final score. I think that BYU being a top 10 ranked team should have came in and blown them out, just like Texas did to Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. I thought the BYU should have came in and blown them out, but the Utes defense, man, they kept them in that game. That was they definitely kept them in that game. And huge shout out to Brandon Rose. Brandon Rose, he played pretty good. I mean, better than what you've had with Isaac. And shout out to Brandon Rose. It was definitely a good game for him.
And guess what? Out for the season is what I'm hearing.
Is he really?
Yeah. That came out. It was a Utah Utes report, but apparently out for the season. I think we only got a couple more games. I don't know. I guess he got hurt or something. I could be wrong, but that's what
insane.
they said.
That's just some
Sounds
crazy
like a
luck
Utah
right there.
quarterback.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Like
I want to say too, because
every time you guys get a
sorry,
good
I was just gonna say
he's got to get injured.
Yeah.
Every single time, and then it's because Cam Rising's played for 5 straight years and getting injured because dude's made of glass. And then we get Brandon Rose, who looked a little bit better. I mean, he wasn't great by any means, but he played better than Isaac. I don't think he put the ball really in harm's way much. And I don't know. I think I'll just say it for Utes fans, because you got a lot of upset Utes fans in this game. Now, you could sit here and you can say we should have won that game. We should have won that game. There was the phantom, we call it phantom timeout call. I think that, Wes, you brought up a good point. It was just so damn loud in Rice Eccles.
4th down and 10 with a minute left to go. BYU
inside the 5 on their 5. And, the whole play goes out. And then all of a sudden we're finally hearing whistles, and it was a timeout. And then the play after that, defensive holding on 4th down. A lot of, Utes fans saying bullshit. How can you call that? BYU fans, I think I saw one post the hold. I didn't see it. I mean, I'm live. We're live in there. It's a lot harder to see some plays like that when you're in the stadium. It really sucked. I won't lie. I was near BYU fans, and we're talking, and it was all good for a while, but everybody in the stadium thought we won the game, and it was tough, but I'm not going to blame it on that. I'm not going to say that that's the reason. We were playing the field position game real well. We got 2 possessions where we were near the 50-yard line, or in front of the 50-yard line, and got no points from it. And so if you even get one of those field goals, you're talking they have to score a touchdown to win. If you get 2 of those field goals, I think that would have put them up 8. So you got to get touchdown 2-point conversion just to tie. So, we scored all of our 21 points in the second quarter. It was a crazy second quarter. We were back and forth, had the kick return in there, everything. Mark Harlan doesn't agree with me, though. Mark Harlan agrees with all of Utes fans, rips the Big 12 and the officials, said that we were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I'm not. We won this game, and somebody else stole it from us. Got fined 40 large ones for that comment. But, yeah, overall, I mean, disappointing. It's been a disappointing season for sure. I think, I said it. If we got this win, we could call it a successful season. It's a rivalry game, lived up to the hype. BYU did what they needed to do, got it into field goal range. And, the thing I've always heard, and, being blessed to be a Patriots fan for so long, and anytime that happened like that, Bill would always say, well, we need to put ourselves in a position so that the refs can't choose a game or decide the game. And that's exactly what we could have done. So you can talk about that one play, and it was a big play, and we hate it. Wes or Feist, we talked about it the last couple of weeks, and we hate when refs decide the game. We like to see it play out. Wes, I know you feel the same way just in general, but I don't like to make that excuse when it's my team. I think I will make the excuse for other teams, but I'm not gonna call it on that. You didn't move the ball at all. I mean, we're not even talking they didn't get a first down. They didn't gain a yard on those possessions that I'm talking about. Maybe they gained 2 or 3 combined, but it was just a sad fourth quarter, sad second half. BYU deserved it. So everything's out in front of them right now. All you got to do, make the conference, make the playoffs, and see what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a hard fought game, and like you said, you never want to put the refs in a position that they could decide a football game. And you're like you said, there's definitely a lot of chances there, especially in the second half, because which really irritates me because I don't feel like the BYU played up to their potential in this game. They're from what I've seen this season, they're definitely a second half football team. And they did not. They played even worse in the second half, I feel like, than they did in the first. And I mean, you can call it a bailout call, you can call it whatever you want, but I didn't specifically see it. I didn't think that it was really that bad of a hold, but it technically up to the rules. He did grab him past 5 yards, and
Yeah.
I didn't think it was like egregious or anything, but technically to the rule, he did grab him, and you get the bailout call. Finally, start to drive the football after that. I mean, and you guys can even say that you had the chance to stop us multiple times, even after that
Yeah.
shitty call.
Yeah, because that holding call, it did give you a fresh set of downs, but what it got you, because the holding's only 5 yards, right?
I think it still gave him the
No,
first down
Or is
though.
it
it
10?
was 10.
Yeah, you get a
Yeah.
new first down. Yeah, so maybe 10.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were at the, 12, 13-yard line, whatever it was. Like, you still had a
Moved
long
him.
way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally, Retzloff, he didn't have a very good game. The thing that I think I hated the most about the BYU offense is that they completely abandoned the run. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they abandoned the
Mm-hmm.
run. Like, that's their cream of the crop. That's why they stay in football games. The defense definitely wasn't there. I don't know what happened to that. I feel like I think they're a top 15 ranked defense in the nation at least. And they didn't show up, I feel like, at all. I don't think that the Utes did anything really special to win that football game. But, we got the win and moved up in the standings. So I guess I'll take it. Move on to the next week. We got Kansas, who are 3-6. And then we've got Arizona State, who is 7-2. That'll be our last real. I don't like overlooking games, but I think that we have Arizona State left. They're 7-2. Kind of our last. You know,
Big
could
test. It's
could
in
yeah
Arizona State, too,
yeah.
so that'll make it maybe a little harder.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, overall, I'm happy for the season. I really hope that the I start seeing better percentages on them making the damn playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Utah teams never get any respect. That comes from the Utes. That comes from BYU. The two biggest teams in Utah never get respect on the national level. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I think that they got the thing is too, it's the Big 12 also. Like the Big 12's not getting a lot of respect this year too. So I think that's why, because you're looking at only one Big 12 probably team making the playoffs now. Either going to be probably Colorado or BYU, I feel like.
I was just gonna say who are they matched up to right now,
For the
and who would
college
they match
football
up in the Big 12?
in the Big
it
12,
would
sorry.
be
Yeah. They could be
yeah, it would
Colorado.
be
We'll get into them a little later.
it would be Colorado. I think Iowa State kind of fell off a little bit.
We're
Yep.
trying to go to that game.
What, the Big 12 championship?
Mm-hmm. Isn't it
I'm
held in
good.
Vegas?
No, that was Pac-12.
Yeah,
I don't know
where
if
the Big 12
I don't
is.
know where Big 12 is.
I was gonna say if it's in Vegas,
Either way, I'm good.
I'll be there
fine.
with the Sandra boys, baby. I mean, I looking at this from a different perspective, right? I'm not this a home team, both teams, but I'm not a big fan of each, right? And so I think this
Yeah,
was a really
this
good
season you've
game.
been a big BYU Cougar fan.
And the best team. Hey, it just didn't hit right, huh, Wesley? It just didn't sound right, not me saying it. So let me go ahead and say it again. And the best team in Utah, it's BYU. I mean, that sounded so good, actually. But I think that like Utah beat themselves up. The only way that they were able to keep up in this game was their defense. Their defense played outstanding, and like just out of their mind. They were able to shut down that quarterback. What's his name again?
Retzloff.
BYG.
He sucked. He was booty cheeks, dude. The man could not throw a ball to
in
save his
that
life,
game.
except
In
that
that
last.
game.
Yeah, that
And
game
he
he
had no
just
help.
didn't. Well, he just didn't look like he was comfortable, and that was just what the defense was able to do. Your O line couldn't block. It was like the defensive line on the Ute side was just busting through. After that holding penalty, I think that's what kind of felt like Utes lost. They're like they always do that to themselves, and I feel like it's something happens, somebody gets injured, something happens, and they lose their confidence. They lose their something just switches so then they end up rolling over and letting the team just win over them. And so I think that Utes kind of beat themselves up. I don't think that BYU did anything special to win. That holding call, like I said before, I think it was like you said, realistically on the rule, it is a holding call, but I didn't really see it to be very a easy call to make where you're like, oh, that's clearly a holding call or that's not a holding call. I know the people are going to be upset. Derek was upset. He was up watching it until like midnight too. And so I will say I was cheering for BYU just because what it meant for BYU season, honestly. And so I think that it just showed what the rivalry can do, and I think we're going to see this. We're going to continue to see this rivalry build up, and especially how loud it was. Even the announcer said, like, I couldn't hear the whistle. They couldn't hear the whistle on that timeout because of how loud it was. Like even the announcer said that on national TV. So
Well, and
it just means
they set a record in the stadium for attendance too, right?
yeah, it was like
So
58,000. It was like way more than actually really the standing
Mhm.
seats were all sold out or yeah, room was all sold out. So like that's just how much it means to them and I think it's going to continue to get better as Utah continues to find what they're supposed to do and use that 2.6 million to actually get good players that can play. Um
we'll see.
I just
Hey,
had to.
hey,
I just had to.
Kyle, all I
I
gotta
just
say
had to.
is we'll see you in Lavelle Edwards next year, buddy.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
And
We're
it's
gonna have
even
a comeback
crazier in there
season, man.
too, man. That stadium rocks that mountain. So
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, like I said, man, it's just gonna get better, and this rivalry is just gonna get stronger. It's always been
Yeah,
struggle.
glad we're
Players
back in
hate
the
each other.
being the same conference, man. It sucked that we didn't play each other for that long. So I
Yeah,
really want it to be moved to rivalry week too. Like I don't
and
know why
eventually,
that
I think they
wasn't.
will.
Like yeah, hopefully that gets moved. Because that'll just that'll just be crazy. I think if Utah can pick it up, get a new quarterback next
Use that
season.
2.6 million.
Or maybe we can go like the Dylan Gabriel route and use the seven
Don't know what you're
point
talking about.
whatever.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Get a really good quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, hopefully we can have a bounce back season. BYU had a tough time their first season in the Big 12. Look what they did now. Nobody expected it. Hopefully we can do the same. But yeah, congrats to BYU. They earned it. They deserve it. I don't like to say that it was stolen from us. Mark Harlan, I hope you enjoyed those $40,000 flying out of your pocket, but like I said, there's things we could have done, and like you guys are talking about how great we played on defense and how just poorly BYU played overall. Like I was just looking at it. Jake had a 39.5 quarterback rating. Like we were suffocating him. So we should I feel like we should have won that game because of how well we were playing on defense. And
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, Feist, not give up on when a play like that happens. Like you have so many plays that you can,
four
bounce
downs.
back, and
Yeah,
that's what we were doing in that whole drive. The reason they were in fourth down is because we're playing such good defense
hundred
to get
percent.
them to fourth down, and they're in the freaking goal line, basically. So yeah, those are my
Hey,
thoughts.
just the abandoning the run game, I think, is what killed Retzloff today or on Saturday. I think
Yeah,
that's what really killed him. And I don't think he's a quarterback that can go out and win a football game for you, but he's a good game manager. And I think they just abandoned the run. I feel like they abandoned the run in like the first quarter for some damn reason. I don't
Yeah,
understand, which just unleashed the Utes pass rush on Retzloff. So
yeah, that's a great point. I think LJ Martin, he had a long of 39, and then total he only had 68 yards. So it's basically most of it on that one run. And yeah, and it's been proven that you can beat BYU Utah that way too. Like what was it, Arizona State? They killed our ass on the ground. TCU, like, you can do it. So, but you guys got the win. That's what matters. All right, we can move on. I think I've had enough. Let's go to number 7, which is Feisty's Tennessee. We don't call them volunteers anymore. We call them 10 percenters.
10%ers.
They defeated Mississippi State 33-14. And then number 8 is Notre Dame. They defeated Florida State. I'll remind everybody, our ACC, me and Feisty's ACC champion pick, 52-6. And then the head coach came out and he fired both of his coordinators and his receivers coach after this loss. So I think maybe that'll inspire a comeback, Feisty, and maybe Florida State will have a chance because
1% chance, baby.
number 9 is the Miami Hurricanes. What? They were like number 4
what happened to
or
them?
something.
What happened to them? Let's let me get into it. Mario Cristobal still trying to visit his grandma. I see he was too busy this weekend. Huge shout out to actually first off to Mr. Cam Ward because I think he had his 30th plus touchdown this season, and so huge shout out to him. He continues to show why he is in the Heisman running. I know that he kind of slipped off. I think it said Dylan Gabriel's the front runner now. But at the same time, Miami lost 28-23. Huge upset against Georgia Tech. So they end up falling 5 spots because I believe they were 4th before this. And so what happened? Miami's O-line struggled big time. Holy crap. Cam Ward couldn't have time for anything.
Yeah, it's a blessing what Cam did with what he, had the pressure he had in his face and everything. So, but yeah, Georgia Tech was killing that O-line, man. They looked like they didn't belong in the same conference, honestly, as far as D-line, O-line right there. But yeah, I mean, they were still in it 28-23. It's a conference game. Georgia Tech, they started out the season shocking the world. It proved to not really be that impressive of a win over Florida State over there in Ireland, but they do it again, man. Get your Miami Hurricanes to drop down to number 9. I still think they're in the catbird seat for the ACC. I know. 100%. I think Clemson moved up a little bit. I can't think who else might be climbing up there in the ACC. Oh, I think SMU. SMU's in the ACC, and we'll get into them a little bit later. But yeah, so let's move on to.
We love it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just gonna have to say it. We love to see Mario Cristobal, even though I gave him his flowers last week. This week,
maybe that's what you got to start doing, bud. Start talking good about him.
Give him flowers, and then they snatch it back because they got upsetted by Georgia Tech.
Yes, sir.
Love to see it.
Well, let's go to another one of Feisty's teams, the Crimson Tide. Alabama back up to number 10 after what was supposed to be the game of the week against LSU, but it wasn't a game at all. Bama kills LSU in LSU at night, arguably the toughest place to play, 42-13. And you guys had mentioned this to me pre-show. I want to mention it because we deserve to be embarrassed by it because I didn't know, but the reason I mention it now because in this game we had fans throwing water bottles onto the field from LSU, and Kirk Herbstreit was on the call, and he said it perfect. He says, "Enough's enough, clowns. This is a terrible look. This is disrespectful. This is classless." And you guys said that you saw some Utes fans doing the same thing, and that I 100% agree and concur with that for Utes fans, dude. We should not be doing that. I have never seen that before in person for the Utes. Now we've had a pretty good run until now when at Rice Eccles, but that's just stupid. And I get it's a rivalry game, as is this. Enough with the fucking throwing the water bottles, throwing the tortillas, throwing the whatever. Quit it, guys. This is so stupid. Classless. Very, very classless.
Yeah, no, I Completely agree. Especially when you start throwing shit on your own field. I mean, really, how much are you a fan if you start disrespecting your own field?
100%.
You know what I mean? Like this is your home turf. Even if you lose 42-13, or even if it's a tight game like the Utes and BYU was, or if there's a bad call at the end of the game. I mean, it's just there's no area. Or what was it? The Texas and who
That
played
was Texas
in
and Georgia when that
Texas
happened.
and Georgia. I mean, you're
Yeah.
throwing water bottles and shit onto the field mid game, bro. Like this
Yeah.
is you know what I mean? I just don't understand why people do this. It's just extremely disrespectful to your own football field, let alone just to your players, the guys that you're
Yeah.
there to support. I mean, obviously you don't give a
And
shit about
even
them.
like fucking like the cheerleaders, the camera people, the sideline, the people that are just, trying to do a job there that don't have a dog in any fight. I mean, obviously the cheerleaders do, but they, have a very specific job. But like I think it might have been at this game where the LSU cheerleaders had like, thick metal or plastic, whatever signs over their heads, just trying to like save
Oh,
themselves from getting hit like that.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it just makes the game look like it's just garbage. Like in Europe, they do that with soccer games, or they when they don't like their teams doing too well, they'll start throwing stuff on the field. This ain't Europe, man. This is greatest country in the world, baby. And football is one of those great traditions, and we can't have stupid stuff happening like this where it just makes it look bad. So, like he said, enough is enough, and we need to stop doing this. So,
Agreed. Okay, well, let's move along to I'll talk about them both, number 11 and number 12. Number 11 is Ole Miss. And I thought something's been missing all
yeah.
podcast. It was an NFL team, I think is what somebody said before.
Hey man, this team got me clipped big time, 100%, and they continue to make that clip go a little crazier now. Georgia, the Bulldogs, going dropping. I think they were
I
the
think they were 2.
two,
I think they were 2,
no,
yeah.
or maybe they were three because I think Ohio State was two.
They
But
might
either
have been,
way,
yeah.
drop all the way down to the 12th where they're barely hanging on to, and some should say really they should be out of there right now, but they end up holding on to that 12th spot with the college playoffs rankings, and something's going on, man. Georgia's not it. Alabama's not it. You got Oregon finally popping off. You got Indiana. You got BYU. You got these teams that like you never thought of, and then you have the NFL team not looking like an NFL team anymore. So, and I really don't understand how Boise, because I think last week Boise was 12th. I don't understand how Boise gets pushed back, especially where they had a good
And
game.
it might have been feisty because I don't think I mentioned, we are switching to the college football playoff rankings now,
Right.
which is what's going to matter for the playoffs. In the AP poll, I think Boise State was ranked a little bit higher.
Well,
Um,
even I guess you're right. Yeah,
Maybe that
but
might
still,
would have been because sometimes they'll be different. The AP poll in the college
yeah,
football playoffs,
but
maybe.
still though, Boise should
Yeah.
be up over Georgia. I think with two losses, you're done for, in my opinion. Especially where they're at in their conference. Like,
Yeah.
it's just my opinion.
In this new 12 team playoffs though, I mean, they're even talking like 3 lost teams might have a chance. But yeah, man, Georgia gets defeated 28-10, and Ole Miss, man, this SEC, I've been talking about it all season. It's just going to continue to freaking shock. I mean, I
Yeah,
know Texas is up there at number 3 right now, but then yeah, I don't think you have another SEC team. Tell Bama, then you have Ole Miss at 11, and then you have Georgia at 12. So it's like, who's going to get that bid to the SEC championship? And then even then, a lot of things you're looking at now, and I never thought about this, but if you make it to the SEC championship, I mean, obviously, if you win, you're probably going to make the playoffs, but it might be better to miss the championship game
so you
because
end
if
up
you
going.
lose that game, you're probably going to get dropped in the rankings. And
Yeah,
if you don't even play, then you can't really go down, right? We see that a lot of times, so that'll be interesting to see. I think you might see that in the Big Ten too, with like Penn State, Indiana, depending who doesn't make the championship there, they might make the playoffs and get a better position because they don't lose a game. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's going to be so crazy.
yeah, and you look at that whole conference, right? You have Tennessee who are 8-1. You have Texas A&M who's 7-2. You have Texas who's 8-1. So, like you said, I think it's really going to come down to Tennessee versus Texas in the SEC
Oh, Tennessee!
championship.
I did forget Tennessee. My
Yeah,
apologies. Yep.
no, you're good. And so I think it's just going to be one of those things where Alabama's out, LSU's definitely out, and so these teams that still have
I
really
don't know
good
that
records.
Alabama's out though. They're at 10.
They're
You know.
but they're 7-2. So I mean, I'm
I
just
mean,
talking
who
about in their
does
conference championship.
right?
Sorry. Yeah.
No,
So
I get
like
you. But Tennessee has Georgia this week. You know what I mean?
this
And
is
so
when it gets really interesting because these teams finally start playing
mhm.
serious contenders and they start playing each other. It's how Pac-12 would always do it, right?
Yep.
Pac-12 would have really good four teams that would be super good all year long, undefeated, and then they would play each other finally. And what would happen? We would beat down ourselves. So I think this is what's going to happen with the SEC. They're going to beat down on each other because you have and same thing with the Big Ten. I think now that Indiana is going to be playing and deciding that factor, and you hope Michigan shows up on that rivalry game against Ohio State. I think that knocks them out too. I doubt that they
I don't
do,
think
but
there's
like
yeah.
rivalry games are different. Like you just
It's
seen it
true. It's true.
with the Holy War. So it's just anything can happen, and it's towards the end of the season that happens. But hey, Georgia, you gotta figure out your shit, man. Something's going
Well,
on on an
like I
NFL
said,
team.
they got a chance too. They got Tennessee, and I can see them winning that game. And then if Bama handles what they need to do, then they might take that second spot in the SEC. And we'll have to see. But let's move along to, like you said, you mentioned the Boise State Broncos at number 13 after defeating Nevada in a close 28-21 battle, and our boy. Finally, after putting up some pathetic
154
performances, like
yards.
150, 130, I think he had. Oh my god, man.
Garbage.
He had 34 carries, 209 yards in this game, and 3 touchdowns, bringing his total to 1,734 yards on the year. So for our 2,000 yard mark we're looking at, that is about 88 yards a game over the next 3 games. So
Easy.
I wonder, maybe we should
So,
be looking at 2,500.
so does he win it if he breaks it? We'll go
I don't
back to
know.
that
I think
question again.
you mentioned it earlier. I think he's actually ahead of Cam Ward now too. So I think it might be Gabriel and then Genty
Yeah.
and then Hunter maybe. I can't remember exactly what I looked at, but I think he's still all of our votes for Heisman. He's mine.
Yeah, I definitely think Ashton Genty is still I mean, he is Boise State. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He
He
literally
is that
scored all
football
their
team.
points.
He is that football team. So I definitely think he should be the front runner, even
Yep.
over Gabriel.
Yep.
I mean, I just and then you got Travis Hunter as the two-way player, but like we've talked about before, I still think
We've seen it.
I still think Ashton Genty is the guy. He's a team guy, and he has put his team on his back all
Well,
season long. Got him all the way up to 13 now. Yeah, maybe even a college playoff berth.
I
Yeah.
mean, and then I know a former player who did that, who was really good in college, got drafted to the Cowboys, played really well first 5 years, not so well this past 5 years. Genty, Cowboys need a running back. Just saying, just saying. But I agree with you
You
guys,
know
though.
who
I
he
think
would actually really be good for?
no.
Oh, I thought you might know
You
who
need
I
a
was
lineman.
talking about there.
Remember, you need a
Yeah,
lineman.
we do. I know, but we'll get Genty. Running backs don't go as high as you think. So if
Nah, not
it would
Ashton
be a
Genty.
Jerry Jones move to
If
go
he
get
ends
him.
up winning Heisman, which I really do agree, I think he deserves
Mhm.
it. Dylan Gabriel is doing some amazing things, but his team is good. Like, he has weapons all around him. He has a great team all around him. Genty is, like you guys said, Boise State. So there's a difference, and I feel like we've always said this: the most valuable player in any sport should go to the most valuable player to a
Mhm.
team. And Genty is Boise State, and I think that's why he should win it. I think Travis Hunter is doing some crazy things too, but we've seen it. This we haven't seen it, like I said a few weeks ago, like in 30 years, right? So if he ends up breaking this record and especially smashes it, go ahead and crown my boy, man, and go ahead and get him to the big D.
All right. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more, buddy, except for that last part. I think that, there's no reason Jerry Jones would need to address the running game. What he's done is just fine. Okay. That's
I
what he
agree.
would say.
I
He's
agree.
addressed it the way he needs to. Anyways, let's move along. So SMU is number 14. They're on a bye week this week, but they are the other team that's up there in the ACC. So you're looking at them. You're looking at Miami in that ACC championship. And Wes, you guys beat SMU, right? This
Yes.
season? That's right.
Yes.
And I think that you might be their only loss.
Mm-hmm.
So and nobody really blinked at that game, so I think that's worth, giving some credit for them. And
I do.
SMU finds another way to hurt Utah, I guess. They got quarterback Cole Leinart, who is the son of former USC Matt Leinart, big time USC quarterback, one of their best of all time. So they land him over Colorado, Arizona, and Utah. So we lost out on a quarterback. Yay. Number 15 is Texas A&M. They were idle. Kansas State is 16. They were idle as well. And then I don't even want to say their freaking name. Colorado is number 17 because we got them this week. So, oh boy. They go up to 17 after defeating Texas Tech 41-27. One thing I did want to mention before we get into this actual game. After every Raiders loss, Shador Sanders comes out, tweets out, "Thank you, God," after each Raiders loss. So I wonder where he wants to go.
All right.
Whoa, I didn't see that.
Yeah, every single time you can look at it and it's been verified as soon as they lose. Thank you, God. Right on his Twitter.
Where does he want to go?
Why would you want to play for them? That's my question.
I don't know. I don't
It's
know if he
Vegas.
has
It's
a
Sanders.
Vegas. Yeah,
Prime
there you
time.
go.
You get prime time to come coach over there with
See
Yeah,
Antonio
if
he'll
Gates.
come.
Antonio
He'll
Pierce
come up.
doesn't look like
He'll, Dion will go to the next level. You'll see it happen, and then he'll just coach his son all throughout his life.
There you go.
I don't see a problem with it.
it.
If my dad could coach me, I'd have him coach me.
You sounded very convinced in that. All right, well, let's move along. Let's finish out this top 25. So Washington State, our Pac-2 team, is up there after defeating Utah State 49-28. Louisville is at 19. They were on a bye. Clemson defeated Virginia Tech. They're at number 20 after defeating them for 24-14. South Carolina beats Vanderbilt 28-7. They're ranked now after that Texas A&M upset that we talked about. LSU drops down to 22 after losing to Bama, 42-13. I think that's what a lot of people are talking about. Whoever lost that game was basically an elimination for the college football playoff. I mean, there's just so many teams we've already talked about in the SEC, so they're probably out of it now. Missouri's at 23. They beat Oklahoma 30-23. Then Army is at 24 after defeating North Texas 14-3. Clearly don't have the same respect as the AP poll because I think that Army was creeping their way up to like 15 or something in the AP poll, but they haven't really played anybody. And
I read something the other day that Army is like undefeated through like 383 days or something like that. Like they haven't lost a game in almost full season of football.
crazy.
That recruiting class, baby. That's all I gotta say.
And then Tulane is 25. They always seem to creep their way in, and even though nobody hears about them forever, but they beat the Temple Owls. I wonder if that's why nobody hears about them.
Night night.
52-6. So what another crazy college football weekend. We have upsets that we thought weren't even a chance. We have wins that we thought this team didn't even matter, and we have a lot of chaos going on as we creep closer to the college football playoffs. So on the other side of this break, we will get into NFL. So we'll check you guys on the other side. And welcome back from break. Let's get into the NFL, boys. And let's start with Monday Night Football from last week. I know we talked about it a little feisty when we were recording because they were in overtime last week, the Chiefs and Bucks. So honestly, this was a great game overall. Hopefully you guys didn't notice too much of me just kind of like peeping at it because I had myself a 1% chance in my fantasy league to win with Butker, Kelsey, and Hunt left, and it was not looking good until overtime. It was kind of back and forth. The Bucks actually got the lead in the third quarter, and they were super big underdogs. I think we said like Wes had picked them as his underdog, and it was a pretty good pick just because they did cover, and there was so many points. But the Chiefs were able to come back, of course, take the lead in the fourth quarter. Bucks tie it up with 27 seconds left. Oh boy, seen this song and dance. I mean, Patrick only needs 13 seconds, but they're actually able to stop him, force overtime. And then before we get into overtime, one guy to highlight was DeAndre Hopkins having his breakout game with the Chiefs. 8 receptions, 86 yards, and 2 tuds. So that was awesome for him, and I feel like awesome for Kelsey, because now this guy's starting to not be double teamed, triple teamed as much. He's getting more targets, and basically in overtime, everything went to Kelsey or Hunt, and Hunt scores the game-winning touchdown for the Chiefs to go 9-0, and I get my fantasy win on a Monday Night Miracle, boys. So that was awesome. Overall, really awesome game. And again, how the hell did the NFL allow the Chiefs to get someone like DeAndre Hopkins for a 5th-round pick, bro? This is so screwed up.
Or they pick up Kareem Hunt off the free agency list and
don't skip a beat without Pacheco.
I'm just gonna say you only get those fantasy miracles twice in a lifetime, all right?
Yeah, I have got him before, and I was looking for a third on this Monday night this week, so we'll have to see how that worked out. But yeah, overall, really good game. Chiefs stay undefeated. Bucks, unfortunately, they drop another game. They go to 4-5 after this game, and they're the best, I think, 4-5 team. And I think they're still playing well. They're in all these games. They're just playing some tough teams and losing some tough games.
Isn't Pacheco supposed to come back this next week too? I think I just saw a thing saying that he's been reported to be coming back to practice. So now having that Kareem Hunt Pacheco kind of duo is going to be interesting. Are they just going to be using him more as a that short range, pounded in kind of guy? But I was really interested in this game. I think that you kept telling me, "Oh, this is a close game. It's a close game. I need them to throw everything to either Kelsey or Hunt." And I was like, "Bro, just chill all the time." But yeah, I mean, it's a good entertaining game, and then obviously you getting your win. Somebody else gotta win this.
Yeah, hold it back
Not
for just a
exploding.
second.
Little foreshadowing, but it's always good time when Monday night football game or whatever gets you kind of the win that you needed. Those last points always count. So sometimes it's a break it or make it game. So
Yep.
solid game.
Well, let's move into Thursday Night Football, which, again, an amazing game. We've got 2 back-to-back. Finally, we're getting some good games. Bengals versus Ravens. And before this, we had a couple of trades that we didn't get to mention. The Bengals traded for Khalil Herbert and sent a 7th-round pick to the Bears. So I think good trade there for both teams. Khalil Herbert was kind of the odd man out in Chicago with DeAndre Swift in there, and then Rashawn Johnson is kind of their goal line guy. And the Bengals, I think Zach Moss just went down and he might be out for a little bit, so they get a backup running back, a quality one. And then the Ravens finally addressed their secondary, albeit with maybe a washed cornerback in Tre'Davious White. They get him from the Rams. And yeah, so then, like I said, let's get into it. I think possibly the best Thursday night football game of the year. Bengals were controlling though in the first half. They led as much as 21-7. I said, well, awesome. I need to talk about my fantasy again. Need a win from and a good performance from Lamar Jackson. And he had like, I can't remember, like 6 points through the first half or something. Like he was just, they weren't able to get anything going. But then in the second half, man, Ravens storm back, becomes a back and forth game. Both offenses are going crazy. Talk about the fantasy MVP performance of the season. I don't know how this dude does it because I remember he's done it. I looked at, there was like this stats of like the top 10 best fantasy like performances since whatever, and he's got 2 of them in like the top 5, I think. Jamar Chase, 55.4 fantasy points. He had 11 receptions, 264 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jeez. And then more fantasy stats is Joe Burrow having 428 yards, 4 touchdowns. Lamar was able to bring it back, 290, 4 tuds, and 33 rushing yards. And then getting into the fourth quarter, Ravens take the lead 35-28. Since he drives down, scores a touchdown to Jamar Chase for his third one in the back of the end zone. And then we have Cincy going for a 2-point conversion and failing. So the Ravens get the win. Now, a lot of people are saying there were a lot of penalties on the last call. There was a holding on Gesicki. There was a face mask on Joe Burrow. What are your guys' thoughts, I guess, on the game overall? The decision to go for 2, and then if you think that was fair or foul on those penalty calls.
Yeah, I just don't think that I personally don't think going for 2 to try to go and win the game. I mean, I'd rather tie it up, to be honest with you.
100%.
But and then try to fight because I mean it's a close game back and forth anyway, and you with overtime rules being the way they are, if you can get that field goal out of the first offensive drive, then the other team definitely has a chance. I just feel like you have more of a chance to win if you take it to overtime instead of going for 2. But yeah, I mean, I hate both these teams, so don't really give a shit about what the refs missed. Both of these teams can be sitting below the Steelers. So,
right. I mean, you look at it, it seems like every time the Bengals and the Ravens have played so far, it's a banger. Like it's a really good game.
Because they went to overtime, I think, earlier in the season.
The first one too, yeah, and both quarterbacks went off just like they just did here. And then Jamar Chase just doing Jamar Chase things. He's always wide open. I gotta say,
even on the 2-point conversion, he said
wide open, always wide open. And I think that was like I agree with Wesley. I think that was an interesting call to go for 2. Why don't you go for the field goal? Go and see if your defense can get a stop, and rely on your team, whether it's you getting the ball first or your defense having to stop. Like even if the game was so entertaining and the players were playing so well, I would have relied on more on my team than really trying to create this scenario where they're like, oh, they won it on a 2-point conversion, they were ballsy. F that, man. Give your team a chance, give your defense a chance, give your quarterback a chance, offense a chance. But it is what it is. I think that can't go back to it now. I think that coach made the call that he wanted to call, and it ended up backfiring. I'm a Lamar fan. I will always be a Lamar fan. So MVP, my guy, and he's just doing and continues to do it, and continues to show why he is the front runner for it. And I actually didn't really see those calls, so like Wesley said, I couldn't really call on it. I don't hate either team, but at the same time, I'm for Lamar. So
I would just say, 50. I would take that 50-50 chance in overtime. Amen. To see, because your offense is on fire, obviously.
Yeah, right.
I would take that 50-50 chance of getting the ball first. Especially Was it at home for the Ravens?
Baltimore, yeah, I was at
Baltimore
home.
was home.
Yeah, and see, I would still even take that 50-50 chance because your offense is on fire in hostile territory. Like it doesn't seem like anything's going to slow you down. I would definitely be taking that 50-50 chance.
Yep.
I would too. And I think it's honestly might have had a lot of public pressure on this because we've had a couple of scenarios like the Chiefs and Bucks. A lot of people are saying they should have gone for 2, not allowed, Patrick Mahomes, which that's the thing. You take a 50-50 chance and you go, whoever gets the ball first in overtime, probably going to win this game. And both offenses are just clicking. Defenses are tired. But there was that game, the Bucks and Chiefs game, they were saying they should have gone for 2. The Patriots and Titans, when they tied it up, went to overtime, are saying that should go for 2. But I agree with you guys. I don't know why everybody's like on this go for 2, go for 2. I feel like it's a safer bet to go send it to overtime. And yeah, you never know if you can get just a couple of stops, force a field goal, then you can, have a chance to win it. But there was just all this pressure that all these teams should have been going for 2. And then the Bengals end up doing it and fail it, So now if they get it, we're talking a whole different story. Everybody's like, now these guys are so smart because they went for 2, but
it's playing the game of a villain or a hero type of thing, right? You're either going to be a villain because you went for 2 and failed, or you're going to be a hero because you went for 2 and got it. So ballsy call. Honestly, I think that was a good ballsy call from the coach, but at the same time, it just shows sometimes those decisions can buy you back, and it ended up not going the way that they wanted to. And once again, he's always wide open. So
yes, sir. All right. Well, that was Thursday Night Football. Let's get into the Sunday slate. We'll start out with Saints versus Falcons. What? Why are we even talking about this game? The Saints suck. Derek Carr sucks. The Falcons should kill him. Well, they end up winning. I think they get that head coach fire bump where a lot of teams, except for the Jets,
win there. Except for the Jets, they suck.
They sure do. Win that first game.
Aaron Rodgers is
dog shit.
Oh man, I shouldn't have brought that up. Now we're all on the Jets train. But back to the Saints game. Yeah, they played a pretty good game. Derek Carr had a decent game. Marquez Valdez-Scantling has his coming out party for the Saints. He gets 3 receptions, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I'm sure a lot of fantasy managers were happy about that and definitely had him on their team, much less starting. So yeah, 20-17, the Saints win that game. Some sad news, Chris Olave, he is going to consult with specialists after his 4th concussion of his career. He is placed on IR and will miss at least the next 4 games. I personally think that we're not going to see him. I think it's a different situation than Tua, although albeit a little similar, but Saints are rebuilding. I know they win this game, but I think that, they're not going to win too many more games. So IR is a good move. Let him sit this year, kind of figure it out, not get hurt again.
You think he's done with this season? No, we're not going to see him again, or just not the rest of the season?
I think with this situation, just this season, I think with the situation with the Saints not being in contention,
100%.
I think even though the Dolphins didn't have a great record, you could still have said they were in contention when Tua came back.
Right.
So I think just with Olave, having so many concussions, the Saints suck, and you put him on IR for 4 games, and then how many games are left after that? 3 or 4. Is it really worth it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but you never know. Maybe he wants to get back out there and he'll come, but I think you might just see him just not return to the field this season. Yeah, all right. Well, we will move on to the Jets and Cardinals, like I talked about. There's nothing really to talk about this game except that the Cardinals look good. The Cardinals look pretty good. They did pretty good. Kyler Murray was playing well, rushing and throwing the ball. And the Jets did absolutely nothing. Got destroyed 31-6. So the Jets fucking suck.
We love a good Jets sucking story. So hey, for the Cardinals, we applaud you for that. Thanks for doing that.
I think they would still be the leading in the division. So, everything's out in front of them. I think they're playing good ball. They're starting to play more consistent. I think I mentioned that earlier where they were back and forth. Either they sucked or they were good, sucked or good. But yeah, so anyways, we'll move along from that game. We'll get into the Week 10 picks. We'll start with mine. My lock was the Chargers over the Titans, and I pretty much just picked them because it was the Titans and was a pretty good pick. Will Levis, he returned in this game. I don't think he played too terrible, but not great. Chargers, they kind of have the control of the game from the second quarter on. I really like what they got going on, man. I like Jim Harbaugh. I think that he has really established a new culture for them.
Yep.
I know that, our buddy Julio was really pissed at Staley from last year, hating that culture. And I think Harbaugh's really building a winning mentality. And they're running the ball. They're stopping the run. They're playing good defense. And Justin Herbert's got, I think, the best supporting cast of his career, especially from the head coach position.
Hey,
No,
it's that Michigan football, man. It's that. It's that run it down your throat and let's play defense. That's all this is. Even with Herbert at quarterback, that unlocks a better part of your offense. That I don't think Harbaugh's had. Especially when he was coaching at Michigan, and
you can say that again.
You can say that again for sure.
you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell that the culture has changed in that Chargers locker room, and they definitely focus on running the football a lot more than they try to make. Instead of making Herbert go win a football game, they rely on that running game and they rely on their defense a little more. And I think as this progresses, I think that this team can get better in the next couple of years and maybe really be a championship contender going forward.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is that Herbert, like you said, Herbert hasn't had to make a case for him being the guy to win it all, right? Like he has a good O-line finally established. Like they're actually protecting him. He can stay healthy.
Yeah, it's interesting. They picked a lineman in the top 5, and they're looking a little better. I kind of like that strategy.
Somebody sounds like they need to pick up an O-line, but I think ultimately, though, you are right. John Harbaugh has brought in a different energy there, different culture, different type of football, and and I love it. I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, and I think that he definitely deserves to have a chance, especially with the stats he puts up. And not having that supporting cast is huge. And so I think next up is to build up their wide receiver core because I don't think that they truly have a true number one guy since Keenan Allen left. And so it's just kind of one of those things now. Not left, they're idiots. And
what are you talking about, bro? Quentin Johnson
traded him. Yeah, but Quentin Johnson is kind of like starting to come up.
McConkey.
Yeah, what about McConkey? He's doing
dude. I don't think they truly have a McConkey. I don't think they truly have a. I don't think they have a true number one yet to kind of give that to give. To give Herbert the his number one target. So I'm interested to see how he continues to build that franchise and turn it around for while Justin Herbert is going to start getting into his prime because you don't want to ever take that away from a quarterback. So.
Well, I love the professionalism, boys. But I think you do bring up a good point, Feisty, is
just true journalism over here, boys.
True journalism. That's right. Anyways, yeah, they don't have a number one, but I think they have a good cast. Like Quentin Johnson looks miles better than he did last year. That's for sure. McConkey is looking better, and I even think like Joshua Palmer's doing okay. But like you said, they don't have to focus on it. When you have the threat of the run, everybody else is going to look better. So
yeah,
I think a number one wide receiver is something that they need to address for sure. But if you take, let's say, Malik Neighbors instead of I think Joe Alt was their tackle they took at 5. Like, I think you're not going to have as much success
sure.
So
100%.
All right, well, let's go into my underdog of the week, which was my Pats, baby. They were 6.5 point underdogs. Thank you very much, and I'm proud of it because this was a good ass pick, and it got me a lot of points for our
Boy,
pickup
did it.
standings, and that's why I picked them, man. I mean, I know that going into this game, even though the Bears haven't been great, you think the Bears would win, but 6.5 points, a lot of them, so I was like, fuck it, let's go with it. So the one thing to note, we did add a pass rusher, Yannick Ngakoue. He's been around the league a little bit. I know he had a couple of good years. I think he got released by the Ravens, I want to say. So I like this pickup for them. It doesn't really, it's not like it's going to make or break anything, but it might help our young pass rushing room develop a little bit. And then let's get into it. So the Pats win, baby, 19-3. So really good game overall. This was definitely, I've been clamoring for it all year. You've been hearing me say we cannot run the ball and we can't stop the run. But this was probably the best game we did on both of those fronts all season. Ramondre, it's not like he had a crazy good game, but he had 74 yards. I think the last game he had 16. So I'll take 74. You know what I mean? And then, we were playing good defense. The pass rush, speaking of pass rush, on fire. We got to see Caleb Williams on the ground 9 times, Feisty. I know that you like to hear that. It was fun. Just you blink and then boom, Caleb Williams on the ground again. So, and again, we talk about this. Who'd the Bears pick in their draft? They had 2 top 10 picks. They picked Caleb, obviously, and then a wide receiver. There's only so much you can do when you don't have an offensive line to block. Even if you have 3, who you talk about possibly 3 number 1 wide receivers right there, right? I know Odunze's young, but you got Moore and Allen. So, in the first quarter, I was talking to Wesley sitting right next to me. I'm like, there's Mac Jones again in the flesh. Saw Drake May threw a really bad pick, just right to a linebacker, but he did come up after the game, says he wished he could have had that one back, has to learn from it. Which I love to see. I think Mac would just basically make excuses for it all the time. So love to hear that. And then Jalen Polk back in the end zone, baby. I know I've dogged on him a lot, and this is pretty much all he's done so far this season is these little short touchdown passes. I think this was like a 5-yard touchdown pass. Pretty good play. He kind of snuck out. It looked like he faked the run pretty well. Nobody went with him, so he's wide open. And then other than that, just all field goals. So it wasn't a super crazy game from the Patriots. Joey Sly had himself a day, 4 field goals. Overall really good game though. I was happy to see it. I think I've been saying, basically want the Patriots to tank, want a good pick. It doesn't really matter for us at this point, but then certain games come up like the Jets. I want to beat the Jets, fuck the Jets. And then this one, Caleb versus
the Jets are
shit.
And then I wanted, Drake May to prove he's better than Caleb, and I think he did because Caleb is
shit.
At least so far. And apparently even some players on the team want him benched. That's a report I saw from Yahoo today. Head coach Matt Eberflus came out and said that he will remain quarterback 1, which I thought was I saw that before I saw the players wanting him benched. Yeah. So I thought that was quite a statement because even though we're talking about Caleb, I don't think he's playing bad enough that you're not going to play him. Obviously, if you're going to start him as your number 1 pick and everything. But he did say there would be other changes. And then it came out today that they fired the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. He had failed to get into the end zone the last 2 games. So some interesting reports there. Hey, firings are going to happen when you play a juggernaut. I think it's a little unfair sometimes, but Pat's beat you so bad, I guess you got to say you're going to make some changes. I don't know what that is. I do have some bad news, Bears. Not for the Bears. It was for the Pats. We are down to the 7th pick now after that win. So we went from 1 to 7. But you know what? That's a good offensive line range. I don't think Travis Hunter makes it to number 7. So maybe that's a good thing for at least what I think overall. But yeah, love to see this game for the Pats and for Drake May. A good overall game for him. I know he had the bad pick, but other than that, he played well, ran the ball, threw the ball well, didn't put it in harm's way after that. So love to see it. Love to see it from my Pats. Let's move along to our random pick. It was the Chiefs who were 8-point favorites over the Broncos. And I don't know what kind of magic they have cooking. I don't know if it's Taylor Swift, whatever it may be, but they find a way to win yet another game, remain undefeated off a blocked field goal this time at the end of the game. So, yeah, and I didn't. Other than that, not too much. It was kind of a low-scoring game, mostly defensive. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that? On this Chiefs and Broncos game?
It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, honestly. One thing that I think stuck out in this game, besides the blocked field goal, was Patrick Mahomes got tackled on the sideline. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not one to throw out conspiracy theories about cheating, but holy shit, is this a lot of evidence. He goes to the ref as he's getting up from getting tackled on the sideline. Let me know when they are coming. Can you please let me know when they are coming?
What?
I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, come on, man. That's insane to me. I just don't understand how you can. I mean, how are they first of all, how are they supposed to let you know? Are they going to fucking blow the whistle before you can get touched or what? Are they going to hit you in the back of the
Patrick, hurry, throw it away.
They're going to hit you in the back of the helmet with a flag, or I don't get it, bro. Like, I don't know. It's just insane that somebody would ask that. And and it was caught on a hot mic, right? And so I just don't know if like other players have asked for that. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. I feel like he was saying it kind of joking around, to be honest with you. I know that, like, we know
Didn't
what's
sound like
all
it.
the stuff that's going on with the Chiefs and the refs and all that. But at the same time, it does kind of get a little sus when you think about what they have been getting away with. It kind of makes you think, uh-oh, script is getting revealed. But yeah, I thought this was going to be a blowout game for the Broncos. I thought that Bo Nix was going to be able to hang with them. But like you said, it wasn't really much on the offense. It was really just a defensive game. I do want to say one thing about actually that Patriots game. Caleb Williams.
Is
Dog
shit.
That's all I wanted to say, man. That guy sucks, and I can't imagine. They definitely need to build up that O line. That's all. Like I wanted to mention that, but at this
Well,
game they
you know
had good O
what?
lines. You know,
Before we can move on to your thoughts on this game too, you remember? I think I talked about it on here, but if not, I know I talked to you guys about it. There was some GM that said if Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Caleb Williams were in the same draft, and these are like Joe Burrow's been in the league for what
they
4 or
would
5
pick.
years
Yeah,
now. Trevor Lawrence
I
since
do remember this.
2021, I think. Yeah, and we would you definitely tick Caleb,
Caleb Williams.
no questions asked, no
Yep.
matter what. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I do remember
wow,
that. I do
look at how
remember that,
that
and I
looks
think
now.
he's super hyped about what he's still in the same situation as Justin Fields was, where the old line is nothing. They just think that the high power offense that they got is gonna work, and it doesn't. You got to have somebody to block when you're trying to throw the ball. You got to have somebody create a hole for you. So it's just, I think he's in the same situation as Justin Fields is, and it's going to continue to be that way until they address it. And it's like I said, it's the same thing for the Broncos, right? Like, let's talk about them. They addressed their O line situation. They got some veteran players. They drafted really well, and they're doing just fine. I think that a lot of people were like at the beginning, Bo Nix is not good, and now he's actually starting to prove himself and starting to do things. And I think Sean Payne has a certain way of doing things, and so I think it's a little bit harder for anybody to really connect with him until you actually figure out the way he likes to play the game. Drew Brees and him spent many years either arguing, fighting, and they got it figured out. So I think it's just a matter of time before they end up figuring it out, and they have. And then they were able to keep up with the Super Bowl champs. So it is an interesting point of view, and like I said earlier, Pacheco coming back, I think that just kind of gives a big firepower for the Chiefs that they already had. So, I mean, do you think these are repeating?
Well, you know what I said before this season, where can't pick against them. Then I picked against them. And then when week 1, when we all picked the Ravens, but I don't know. You know, they've won in every way, like seems like imaginable, except for dominating a game this season.
Right.
And they're still the only undefeated team. I think on like, as far as the eye tests say, like the Lions are better, maybe even the Bills are better, the Ravens are better. But the thing is, and I've seen it, plenty of times, the Patriots have done it time and time again, especially like that 2018 Super Bowl. We had a really tough season that year, and we won different ways in the playoffs. And you see it all the time, even though we didn't really have like undefeated seasons except for that one. But like we would have some 12-4 seasons, but then we'd have 10-6, or we'd start the season 2-2, or even 1-3.
Yeah.
But you just find ways to win when you need to, and that's and the fact they can do it in different ways, and Mahomes and Kelsey and everybody's bought into that way. I think that they have a very, very good shot. And obviously they got the experience in the playoffs. They seem to turn it up in the playoffs. So I think that they have a very good shot, man, especially in the AFC. You just got to see if basically Lamar or Josh Allen can get the monkey off their back. That is the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, should we get into some better picks? What do you think?
Well, I'm pretty sure I got the most points this week, but I think you're just feeling you've had a couple of good weeks, so I think he's feeling himself a little bit.
A little bit.
All right, well, we'll start off with my lock this week. I took the Lions, who were 3.5 favorites. I love that 3.55 margin. I don't know if you guys have noticed
it seems
that.
To work out for you.
Obviously not. I'm in last, but
Well, now.
but that. All right, Scooby Doo. No. Okay, so I took the Lions as 3.5 favorites over the Texans. Didn't catch much of this game. There was I can't remember where I was. I had to drive somewhere, but yeah, I didn't catch much of this game. Seemed to be a really good one. Ended up 26-23, the Lions. So, what do you guys think of the game?
It was nuts, bro. I can't believe that the Lions win this game for one. But I'll start before I did see some news things. So the Lions get what they've been wanting ever since Aiden Hutchinson went down. They got another pass rusher, and everybody was kind of linking this guy to him all along. Zadarius Smith. So they got so the Browns trade Zadarius Smith and a 2026 7th round pick to the Lions for a 2025 5th round and a 2026 6th round pick. So just, Browns selling and the Lions picking up a position, it seems like they need, even though they've been playing great defense ever since Aiden's gone down, but definitely is not going to hurt you. He didn't end up playing in this game, but he was on the sideline a lot, just like talking to people and like laughing, smiling, and kind of like telling everybody what to do too. It kind of looked like, and at this point, I think they were down maybe 1 or 2 possessions, and it was kind of like a weird look. But another thing to note, Nico Collins was activated off of IR, and it looked like he was going to play, but then he didn't end up playing in this game. And then let's talk about the storyline. Turnovers in this game. I think that the Texans had 2 picks. CJ Stroud had 2 picks, and they might have had 2 fumbles. And Jared Goff looked like the former Jared Goof, as they say, with 5 interceptions in this game. And like you said, Wes, the Lions win. And he has by far his worst game. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's what was he? He was 18 for 18 in one game. He's been like 80-something, I think 86% on the season completion percentage. Like they just play an insane football. So it was, a lot of them were crazy, like tip drill kind of weird things, but still just overall insane. But then guy we talked about, or my fantasy team we talked about, I did need another Monday Night Miracle because of this man, Jake Bates, who ends up getting fucking Hunter 10 points from field goals off of 2 of them in the 4th quarter. Like I think it was a 52 and a 58 yarder that snuck in just barely on the sides of the goalpost, man. But good for him, and wins them that game. honestly, the Texans played the best they've played in a while. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the game. And then I know if I see you probably have some, but before I let you get to yours, I just wanted you to know that there were more interceptions in this game than points on the scoreboard for the New York Jets this week. Just in case we haven't dogged on the Jets enough, because I don't think
the
we
Jets
have.
are what?
A dog
shit.
Yeah, I mean, a little quick story actually on Jake Bates. I read a thing today. It was saying how he was like a few months ago. He was actually some kind of salesman. He wasn't even like playing football or anything like
Yeah,
that.
he was selling
Um,
bricks, is
bricks,
what they
yeah,
said.
sales brick sales.
What kind of
Huh?
bricks?
What kind of bricks are we talking about, do you think?
I mean, either way, it's a cool story because then now he's like 14 for 14, and especially having a game winner where the game was just so terrible on your offensive side, it was cool. And then Dan Campbell doing Dan Campbell things. His speech was really cool. I don't know if you guys got to see that. Just the way I just love the guy, man. I really wish that I was a Lions fan.
Still
Just kidding.
Still can't be
I wish I
without
was a
your
lot
team
of other
playing this year.
fans.
I think that's the first time anybody's ever said that. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? I wish I
I
was a
just
Lions.
I love Dan Campbell. I think he's turned that whole franchise around. I've said this many times. The way he just appreciates his guys, the way he just makes them work. Everybody has bought into that. It's a team system. Not a single player is selfish, and so that's the kind of player. That's the kind of coach you want to follow. You want to go through a brick for. Speaking of bricks, and so it's just cool. I think that they're doing the right things, and I hope that they end up getting to the Super Bowl. And then to Texans, like you said, I think this is their best game. And imagine I had Nico Collins actually in my fantasy, and last minute they were like, "Oh, he's not playing," and I was like, "What the? This is
Yeah,
whack."
literally.
Yeah, like literally last second, and I was like, "Okay, get him out." But now that he's gonna be back, I think that's gonna be a huge turnaround for Mister CJ Stroud because he's been struggling. He's looking like
Mhm.
dog.
Shit.
So
But I don't
I
think he
mean,
is. But yeah, like you said, like these last
he's
few
looked
weeks,
like
he
it.
has been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
for
hasn't
sure.
been able to do a lot. He's been throwing a lot more picks, and so I think it's gonna be nice for him to have his number one guy back, and then be also able to have Tank Dell, and then Mixon's just doing Mixon things and just kind of going with the flow, and he's been playing really well. So I think that this game should have been the Texans, to be honest with you, but somehow, some way, Jake Bates, he ain't hitting no bricks, that's for sure. He's hitting,
Not
scoring,
anymore.
winning field goals. So
Well, hey,
Yeah.
boys. Unless you got something else, Kyle. I don't mean to
I
cut
did
you
just want
off
to
like you
say,
like to
I
cut
hope.
me off.
There we go. Come back and just ruin the flow. No. Hopefully the Lions trust their field goal a lot more this year, because I think that I've been a component of they should have gone for more field goals instead of going for it on fourth down, like however many times it was in
yeah,
the NFC Championship last year. You got a guy that clearly has a leg, like, and you can use that. I know that's not Dan
he
Campbell's
got a
recipe,
leg.
but he's got a leg. So yeah, that's all I want to say. And yeah, I think I'm on the same boat as you, Feisty. Like I think I said it last week. If the Patriots aren't, gonna get this run fully turned around and win it all, then I'm definitely rooting for the Lions.
Oh, touche.
I think we said
Cowboys will
this last,
never.
I think we said that last year too when they were in the playoffs that we said we
Yeah,
were
we
going to
love a
root for the
good
Lions.
underdog story.
We just love Dan Campbell over here.
Oh yeah.
We do. Daddy Campbell.
Okay, so let's get into the underdog pick I had last week. I had the Bucks, who were 6-point underdogs against the 49ers. They were able to cover, so I still made 3 points. Could have got a lot more if they would have won that game, but I guess I'll take it. It was definitely a great back and forth game. Lots of drama, man.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys seen, but Moody, who's on my fantasy team, luckily, Feist, you're lucky.
Oh. Well, you got it now. We got to let the viewers know. We got to let the viewers know.
I'm not saying anything. I was waiting for the big news, and then I was gonna say something.
All right, I guess we'll
Oh,
save
there's more
it.
big
Unless
news.
you want to
Okay.
save
Yeah.
it. Unless you want to save it.
No, I'm saving it.
He's going to
All right.
savor the fuck out of this
Yeah, he
one. Anyways.
Okay. Anyways, Jake Moody, I think he missed, 3 total field goals in that game?
Yep.
Really, really bad field goals, too. And Deebo Samuel decides to try to take it out on the kicker. Gets in his face, starts talking to him, and then guess who comes and backs him up? His long snapper. So long snapper starts getting into Deebo's face. And Deebo says, no, I'm an all-star. I get paid a lot on this football team. I'm better than you, so I'm going to shove your face mask and get the fuck away from me. That's what I take from that, because that's not team football. I don't think I've ever seen anything happen like that. Usually when your field goal kicker's missing field goals like that, like obviously you're frustrated, but just imagine how they feel. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They feel terrible. They feel like they've let down the team already. It doesn't mean that you need to go get up in their face and try to yell at them for missing field goals, man. Like I just don't understand what Deebo Samuel's reasoning was behind that, because he obviously said something to Jake Moody that pissed off the long snapper. So what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that Christian McCaffrey was back officially.
Oh, is that the big news?
That's what he wanted.
Is that the
And
big
you know
news? That's
what,
what you
baby?
wanted?
You know what, baby? We are one. We finally won, baby. We are one
Nice.
and
Hey, give it to yourself.
9.
Give it to yourself.
Beat the best team in the fantasy league.
And I just want to tell you, the viewers, I was playing Wesley, who is 7-2, or 7-1. Were you 7-1?
I think it's 8-2 now.
He's 8-2. He was 8-1. He was.
Gave you that second loss, baby. Rob Van Dam. Just
I
kidding.
don't know if
but-
you need me. I could go and grab it real quick if you want me to show you something.
Nah, dude, it don't matter. You lost to the worst guy on the fantasy team, and you know what?
It doesn't matter. It's on track to stay at my place.
Here's the thing, though. It really shows Christian McCaffrey was my whole team. I really relied heavily on him. All of a sudden, Mixon was doing really well for me too, but like all of a sudden, Nick Chubbs came back. Even though he didn't play this week, but like he was able to give me some points finally. Christian McCaffrey was working like he looked like he never missed a beat. He looked like his bitch ass could have played like 5 weeks ago. But I don't know what the whole drama was in this. The biggest drama and the biggest storyline obviously was already missed. It's that Fies got his first dub. Everything else was second, but it is disappointing. I think that we all get mad. I remember what's his name for the Cowboys when he missed like those 3 or 4 field goals. I forgot his name, but that kicker, he missed like 3.
Is it Maher?
Was it Maher?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was Maher.
Yeah. I think you're right.
He missed 3 or 4 field goals, and they were important, and we lost that game. But it is frustrating. It really is. It hurts, and as a fan, you never want to see that. You're like, cut this guy, but realistically, you got to understand how hard it is to kick a field goal, especially to have that much pressure of guys coming right at you, trying to block it. It's already this narrow field goal that you have to really make. And so I kind of gave the benefit of the doubt to Jake Moody and also to the long snapper, but Debo should have controlled his emotions. I think the emotions were really high, and the 49ers, man, can I say it? Brock Purdy
Is good.
is good. Sorry, Wes. I'm on the train now, dude. The guy looks like he finally got his weapons back, but it's not just all the weapons doing the work, it's him doing it. And it's exciting. I hate the 49ers, but they look like they're about to bounce back and start going on this run again. Their defense is still talented. Their offense is still talented. So I couldn't really say a whole lot. I feel bad for Baker Mayfield because we all want Baker Mayfield to win, right? And so
Unless you're a Browns executive, head coach, or
Yeah.
anybody involved with the team. I think
There's
everybody
that
else
because the
besides
Browns are
Dog
shit. So
Yeah, no, I echo like what Wesley said too. I'd never seen anything like this. And the other thing too is this was his first game back from injury.
yep.
And we've even seen this from Justin Tucker. Like you could say it's just a kick or whatever, but Justin Tucker's having his worst season, right now, and everybody kind of thinks it's injury ridden too. And like he just barely came back. Like I get it, man. It sucks. It's frustrating, but yeah, like you said, you never really see it. You can be pissed off on the sideline, but man, like what else can you do? And to do that is very classless from Debo. I think I mentioned it to you, Wes, or you had said something to me. I can't remember, but like that he should probably be fined, like at least within the organization for that,
Yeah.
or have some sort of discipline because that's just not a good look and that's not team friendly. And the funniest thing about it is, guess who won them the game? Jake Moody.
It
The
wasn't
game-winning
Debo.
field goal. So, like, I don't know how you feel as Devo, especially after that, man. And that's just crazy. So, what a game though. It was really good. I think again, like I said about the Bucks being 4-5, now they're 4-6. Had a really tough schedule, but they are not a 4-6 team. Like even without Godwin and Mike Evans, they look really good. So, what an overall game. Baker Mayfield, if we didn't already know that he's a dog, I mean, this was pretty crazy. I know there's a lot of conspiracies because, Baker Mayfield is a white quarterback and, Nick Bosa, like has some certain feelings or something. So maybe he went a little easy, but I don't think so. Dude was all over his
I
arm. Like
believe
he
it.
had his arm wrapped up, and Baker throws a 4th down conversion, like 4th and 7 in a keyhole to Rachaad White. So hell of an effort from Baker. He's doing everything he fucking can. And yeah, it sucks for the Bucks. They've had a tough schedule. Hopefully it gets a little easy for them. And we'll see. The Falcons losing definitely helps them. We'll see if they can still win the division and make the playoffs.
I do just gotta say though, that wasn't the only crazy stiff arm of the weekend. We'll talk about it a little later, but NFL
It
young
definitely
boy,
wasn't
bro.
the craziest. Yeah, I think
NFL
you're right
young
on
boy,
that
bro. So let's get into my random this week. I have the Vikings, who were 4-point favorites above the Jags. Vikings really wanted to make me lose this week. I don't know how you play this bad against the Jaguars, but they did. maybe.
I know what it was. I know what it was.
I
They were
know. That's
nervous
gonna
about the
say.
guy.
Yeah. I was gonna
They're
say
nervous about number 10 over there for the Jaguars.
Mac.
Return of the Mac, baby. Mac Jones back on a football field. Sorry, Jags fans. I'm really, really sorry. That sucks.
Did you see after he scored his first touchdown what he did? He acted like he just won the Super Bowl, like Mr. Ashwakanda.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, that's Mac Jones football, dude. That is exactly how he fucking acts. And I love it because did you see how he lost the game, too?
No, I didn't watch the game.
He overthrew his receiver by like 15 yards, and it was a pick straight to a Vikings defender who did the best celebration of the season. I don't know if you saw it, but you guys remember, I think her name is Raygun from Australia, the
break dancer? Yeah.
the guy who picked it, exact routine.
Yeah.
Exact routine.
He practiced it.
That's awesome. That is freaking awesome.
Oh man. But yeah, the Vikings, they got the dub for you, Wes. So you were able to sneak out with that one. But they, like you said, they did try. And because they had to try really hard because it's really not that hard to beat Mac Jones, but they tried to. So
yeah. Well, hey, I mean, at least the Jags might have a little bit of hope for the future. You know what I mean? Trevor Lawrence is
Hope for the future, and then he said Trevor Lawrence. I'm not sure where he's going.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with it.
Trevor Lawrence is done for, basically.
I don't think we talked about it, but
lost my train of thought for a minute there. I said hope for the future, and then said Trevor Lawrence, and my brain turned off.
Hey. The Inside Out people are over there like, shut it down, he's fucking it up. No, I think we did mention that he was out. So obviously he didn't get benched for Mac Jones. You can't play that bad, but he's got a shoulder injury that I don't think we heard about last week. And he didn't play Sunday, and he might not play for the rest of the season. It sounds like
he got his bag and said, "I'm hurt." Ow! He pulled a Christian McCaffrey. Ow! I'm hurt. That's all I gotta say. Hey, speaking of a team that's hurting, let's get into it, boys.
About them Cowboys.
Hey, shout out to Mr. Jacob's mom, Miss Suzanne. She was making fun of me a little bit, and I have to do this for her. So
okay.
The Eagles are really, really good, and the Cowboys really, really suck. And fly, Eagles, fly, fly.
On the road to victory.
Yeah, why didn't
I showed the text to the boys watching the football game, and I said, imagine getting shit talked by Susan, bro.
Dude, she's so funny. All of a sudden, she's become an Eagles fan, and obviously there's a story behind it, and I love it. And so she just is like, every time the Cowboys suck or Cowboys play against us, she sends me says something related with the Eagles. So now she started this rivalry, and I'm like, I can't say anything back. We suck. We suck so bad that I chose my lock for the season as the Eagles, baby.
Did you misspeak? It was just this game you meant, right?
No, for the whole season, baby.
He didn't
Oh my gosh, let's just get into it. The Cowboys are hurting, man, at every angle. Dak, the best quarterback in the NFL, it's your $60 million a year, worth $60 million a year, more like 60 cents, is going to IR. Boys.
Oh no. So he got his bag.
Let me get my bag, and then I'm hurt.
Oh my goodness. There were so many different reports about this too. I saw it was he's trying not to go to IR. He's going to go to IR. And then of course, Mr. Jerry Jones is the one speaking about everything. So we got to love that. But yeah, he wanted to avoid it. He gets the season-ending surgery. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because it's a very weird injury that he got. So what it is he suffered a partial avulsion of his right hamstring tendon. And what that is the tendon tearing away from the ischial tuberosity, which is what connects it, to it's your hip bones basically. And what a lot of people, when that happens, it's because it's usually in non-athletes who did something strenuous because they were not properly warmed up.
It's like basketball when you go play pickup basketball or
and you don't stretch, it's really not anything that athletes get. Is the reason why I wanted to kind of highlight it.
He didn't do his hip thrust routine.
Yeah, Dak should be the last one to get this. Man, what a tough look for him.
The best part is the Cowboys decided to do a big change. Can't even say the word. That's how bad I am. We go and get Jonathan Mingo. And a 2025 7th round pick for an exchange of a 2025 4th round pick. So here's what's frustrating about that, right?
Hey, wait. I need you to finish it here. I need you to finish it.
I'm sorry. It's my
Work
fault. It's
through
my fault.
work through the pain there, Feist. I need you to say it.
So Jonathan Mingo, which I've never really heard of, is worth a 4th-round pick, while Mr. Amari Cooper was worth a 5th-round pick.
Jerry Jones, best GM in the world.
He made a move, baby. He made a move. Well, you know what he said? He said, well, you see, Jonathan Mingo, he was a 2nd-round pick last year. So I got a 2nd-round pick for a 4th-round pick. How is that a bad trade?
You should have went as Jerry Jones for all of it, my guy. That's perfectly spot on, because this Mr. Dementia is just confused. It's so frustrating. I don't get how that happens. Amari Cooper is a 10 times better wide receiver than Jonathan Mingo. Like, man, it just gets more and more frustrating, right? Like, what does he ends up saying? Like, you see some things happen now even on the sideline.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention this because this was last week when he did get injured, but he was on the sideline, and he goes, "We fucking suck." Clear as day, you can read his lips. So, Feisty, what was the score of this game? It doesn't matter because the Cowboys fucking suck. I think it was 34-6, dude.
I think it was like 39.
What did Dak say? What did Dak say at the beginning of the season? Either get on or get off, or
Yeah, he said, a lot of people are jumping off. I'm just gonna say that right now. And I've been one of them. I told you guys from the start of the season, this is not it. Does not look right. And the best part is Mike McCarthy's still there. Him and Micah Parsons kind of got into it. Micah Parsons said some comments after the game, and about Mike not being there next year, and it's really starting to look like it, man. Like I said, what's his name? The Commanders' is freaking head
Dan
coach.
Quinn.
Dan Quinn, man. You can see that he was a way better coach. That defense won game for us last year. His team is doing really well. Mike McCarthy, not so well, man. And it's just so frustrating because freaking Mr. Dementia, Jerry Jones, still is like, yeah, he's going to be there. I'm not looking for a coach change. Like, just today he came out and said, I'm not looking to change any coach. He's going to be there. And I'm like, why?
Oh my goodness. Mike McCarthy's a Super Bowl winning head coach, and
so is Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And they both suck.
It's a long time ago, and I don't think he's like the worst, but it just hasn't worked out. How many years now? 3 or 4 as the head coach for the Cowboys?
4,
It just hasn't worked out. And you're in a perfect situation where it's just the end of his contract. So that means you don't even have to pay him anything after this year. So, like, you're off the hook there. And I've heard there's 1 or 2 good head coaches that are out there looking for a job.
Defensively and offensively, huh?
Let's stick with Mike
Saleh?
McCarthy.
Robert Saleh?
Yeah, hire him as the defensive coordinator.
Jacobs already said this. Get him as the head, the defensive coach, and then you get
Mr. Bill Belichick.
He won't just go along with whatever Mr. Jerry Jones Dementia A wants to do. He's gonna fight back. He's gonna argue with them, and I think that's what they need. They just need a culture change, man. That whole team is soft. Everybody there is soft. There was one good thing that came out of that game, and I did actually see it. It was Mr. Diggs getting an interception finally, and it was actually a pretty sick interception. But he sucks. Micah Parsons sucks. Oh yeah, Zeke also fumbled out of the end zone. He sucks. Freaking fat boy. Who else should we throw under the bus? Oh, CD Lamb. He sucks.
Hey, he could have had a touchdown in this game if Jerry Jones wanted to put some curtains down.
Yeah, didn't have 6.
Oh, and that's another story. He goes
on one side of the stadium.
He goes, that's a home field advantage.
Only
What?
Jerry fucking Jones, man.
Dude, I literally saw a post that said, "I think Cowboys are just doing this for show now." Like, why? And then there was a press conference where Mr. Freaking McCarthy was talking, and they had shades in the freaking conference room, like to block out the sun. And people were just saying, "I think they're just doing this for show now. This is just stupid." And then Jerry Jones goes on the radio again, as always. Yeah, that's not the issue. It's a home field advantage. I can't see the ball. I wonder how that's a home field
I
advantage.
haven't. I don't know if I've
Man.
seen a play like that where CD just is like staring, ball's right here,
Directly at the ball.
it's gone,
It goes past
still looking. I've never seen that, and I think it's just Jerry likes it. Like Jerry, it's a show more
Yep.
than he's trying to run a football team. Because
Yep.
I'll be honest, there have been some cool pictures. I remember when the Patriots played there a while ago. Tom Brady was still there, and there's like some pictures of him throwing, and the sun's behind him, so he can see, and his receivers can see. But like that is the stupidest thing in the world. Like, and then he doesn't even like. He mentions it and he just goes, all he says is, well, yeah, we know where the sun's going to be. And then
Yeah.
I think he brought up the moon too. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, I built $1 billion stadium. What are you trying to say? And he says nothing. He said,
He's like, the
Only Jerry
currents are
Jones,
like the
man.
last thing that we need to worry about upgrading. He's like, we want our fans to feel like they're outdoors. No, we don't. No, we don't.
It's worse than being outdoors. You have the sun centralized, rays beaming towards the end zone. It's worse than being outdoors.
Yeah, he just is a old man who's suffering from dementia and that whole. And it's weird because it's never gonna be sold, right? Like it's $10 billion company or I guess organization, and nobody, unless Elon Musk saves us too. Like, there's nobody else that's gonna pay $10 billion on an NFL team that's just struggling. So, I'm just gonna continue not to watch the games. You guys call me every week as if I'm paying attention. I'm doing homework or playing video games, spending my time. Other things are uh m- worthy of my time.
More
So
important.
yeah,
Dallas Cowboys.
they're not worth my time. So
You guys
let's
get a
move
higher
on
draft
from that
pick than
train,
the
boys.
Patriots.
Huh?
You guys got to admit, you guys might get a higher draft pick than the Patriots. Maybe you'll get Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter,
Ooh.
or
There you go.
or
Sure, Sanders. You think? Cam Ward, maybe.
60 million. Anybody's
Yes.
worth that.
Screw it. Somebody will trade for him, right?
Hey, what about Boise State? You're forgetting.
I actually would like. I actually think that.
His face lit up so much.
I actually would think that that's what they were actually would go with this or this draft this season because they need a running back so bad. And if Genty decides to declare for it, which he should, he should be a top 5, top 10 pick, honestly. And if Cowboys end up sucking like they have been, they should go after Mr. Michael Myers in the backfield. Because you don't need Zeke fumbling the ball out of the end zone. So, anyways,
Why don't you put yourself out of your misery and start talking about a winning football team?
yeah, let's get to a team that has not disappointed this season. Every time I pick them, actually, my underdog picked the black and yellow Steelers, baby. They were 3-point underdog against the Commanders. Commanders are just doing what they're and nobody thought they were going to be able to do. And they just recently, actually, just some big news. They actually just acquired Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints for a 3rd-round pick. I still think that that's probably. I think I would have gotten a 4th-round pick for him. I still think he's a good corner, and I actually liked him from. I think he's from LSU, if I'm not wrong, but he's a good
I think he's
corner.
Ohio State, actually.
Is he Ohio State? I thought he's from
Might
LSU.
be.
Anyways, he's a good corner. He's a good corner. He is injured. He didn't play this game. As he's recovering from a hamstring injury, but there's a lot of drama in this game, and I was watching it a little bit because we were at church. Like, But we were doing. Derek was watching this game, and I was kind of keeping my eye on it. And man, Zach Ertz, Mr. Former Eagles, talk about players switching up teams on the same division rivals. But he got his first touchdowns. Well deserved, finally. We're not gonna give him the claps because he still sucks. The Steelers end up getting Mike Williams from the Jets for a 5th-round pick. Mike Williams for a 5th-round pick. Jonathan Mingo for a 4th-round pick.
Yep.
That makes sense. Wow.
Good GM in there, Jerry.
So, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that's happened, but let me get your guys' thoughts on so far all that. That's the Steelers end up winning this game. I forgot what the final score was.
28-27.
28-27. So, what are you guys' thoughts?
It was not a first down.
It was a first down.
No, it was not.
Definitely a first down.
It definitely went to New York and got replayed.
This is what we were waiting for.
I just wanted to see the game go on, man, and he definitely caught it above the line. And
that's an
forward progress
line.
Is a thing. Yeah,
That's
but we could actually see that it was the same exact thing because we saw the post over there. So, got cheated. Sorry,
was it first down?
That's all right. The Steelers have been cheated before.
A win is a win. I mean, first down or not. True. I mean, the Steelers were looking at Darius Slayton also before making the trade for Mike Williams, and it worked out really well because guess who got the winning touchdown catch? Not Jonathan Mingo.
Nope. He didn't catch anything this week.
He didn't catch anything.
Yeah,
it was Mike
Williams. It was Mike Williams, and Kyle even pointed it at me, and he was like, "Good trade now." And I was like, I mean, I guess, man, but the problem is that they were looking at these big name wide receivers to be a do it all player, and Mike Williams is but Mike Williams is a deep shot guy, so now you've changed your offense to now basically play the deep shot and the run game is basically what their offense is now, which I have no problems with because we got NFL young boy on the team and dude's making one of amazing catches that you'll never see again in a million years every week.
Oh my gosh, that was insane,
RKOing and
the man's entertaining. It's the new Odell.
No, dude, George Pickens is his own category, man. I have never seen anything like it.
Literally turned around.
And then wait. And then Russell Wilson threw his first pick, right? It was a bad ball. Safety was there. Gets picked off. Dude, the corner that tackled Pickens gets back up and hits him. And then Pickens said, "What the fuck did you just do?" And just jumped on him, grabbed him by the helmet, and literally pulled him to the ground. But wait, that's not even the best part. We brought up a stiff arm earlier.
Yep.
This dude gets the ball, right? Gets like maybe 3 yards on the play, I think, if I remember correctly. Gets maybe 3 yards.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
And he literally 6 commander defenders in front of him. And this dude's thought process is to hurdle, stiff arm, push the guy's face mask up, and then just walk out of bounds. But then he goes and makes that just insane catch in the end zone and just surprises everybody yet again on how good, like, the best man in the NFL for the 50-50 ball, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
yeah, I think you have to agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I literally watched that play, and me and Derek went up and said, we literally looked at each other and did this. We didn't even say anything.
That's exactly anything that George Pickens does. He will give you that face right there.
Oh, we were just like, did we just see that? Did that just happen?
He is, man. I think I have to agree with you, as I think he's the best 50-50 ball guy in the game right now. But yeah, just those two plays you bring up in particular. I mean, and of course, after I see that, I see his entire highlight tape of him doing that shit, even back at Georgia. And this dude does not care, and it's the most hilarious thing. And that image, especially on that pick, because I mean, like, the guy was out of range from him, but like, it's still, you never know. Typically, you just see the receiver get up, run straight. No, he gets up, he looks, guy's out of range, like you said. Nah, fuck you. No,
The funniest thing is like
WWE.
you didn't even catch it at first because I looked
Yeah.
I was the interception was going back the other way and it's literally like a split second that you just see this dude jump on this guy's chest and then hits the ground and then the ball keeps going. So, I was like, did you see that dude? Did you see George Pickens literally fucking RKO a dude in the back over there?
Oh my god! And like you said, yeah, that stiff arm just like there's no like you said, 6 defenders in front of you. You're already on the sideline, and he jump stiff arm is an odd move. It literally looks like you are playing Madden or whatever, and you just fucking spammed
Yeah, you
a
start
bunch of
spamming
buttons. Like, that's what he looked like, bro. But dude's a dog, man, and yeah, that was really awesome for the Steelers. And I think it was as close as could be, as we could say, at least for that first down.
Yeah.
Commanders played a really good game. You know, Jaden Daniels did what he did, and Terry McLaurin went off. So, you know, we'll have to see how this week's Thursday night football goes with the Commanders and Eagles. That should be definitely a good game. The leaders of the NFC East, you know, and the only 2 teams that matter in the NFC East. So that's for damn sure.
Fly Eagles fly, baby.
There
Before
you
we
go.
end on that note too, on this as my random pick or my underdog, sorry. We do have to mention that the Steelers also acquired Preston Smith from the Packers for a 7th round pick. So they continue to improve themselves. I think that this is it's a good pick for them. It just kind of shows what the Steelers are doing. They're all in. I just saw reports just yesterday saying that they look good, man, and they're looking like they could be a top contenders. And I mean, I'm all for it. I think that they have the 2 duo running backs, even though Jalen Green fumbles at the
Warren.
so, but he's still a dog. We love Jalen, hometown guy. We still love him, and so it's just good to see the Steelers finally doing something right instead of
I do gotta
Instead
say
of you pronouncing his name.
Jalen Warren.
Yeah, he said
Instead
Jalen
of
Green,
Green.
but
Oh, my bad.
he said Jalen Green. Love the hometown guy. Got to shout him out.
Oh, foreshadowing a little bit of basketball later.
There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
I do gotta say a couple of things though, boys. I think that the Preston Smith is definitely in hindsight now good pickup.
Yeah.
Because Alex Highsmith got injured. Basically looked like he broke his ankle on Jaden Daniels' foot.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And he will be out for at least the next 3 weeks. And after this game, man, it gets tough for the Steelers. I mean, they got the Ravens this week. That's the fight for the top of the division, boys. I think this is going to return it back to that good AFC North football. It's going to be a good game.
There we go. And we definitely don't have like the Cowboys or anything on prime time instead of that game, do we?
Oh, we do. We have them
Oh, of
for
course.
Monday night.
Monday
Football.
night.
Yeah, Ravens Steelers are a Monday morning or a Sunday morning slate game. So
Could have moved the Cowboys, that's for sure. Let's get into my random pick. I picked the Dolphins, who are a 2.5 point underdog against the Rams. Get my 5 points on that. So it was a good week for all of us. I think we all got all of our points except Jacobs just popped off with that 6.5 point for the Patriots. So let's get into the standings.
Well,
Mr.
before
Jacobs.
we do, I did want to mention, because this was a tough game for the Rams. They had only field goals in this game, and the Miami defense looked really good. They were stopping them multiple times, sacking Stafford all the time. And like I said, I was looking for another Monday night miracle from Puka. And he did his darndest. He did his darndest. I can't say damnedest. He's a BYU boy. He did his darndest to get me that win, and I lost by 1.3 points to our buddy Talbot. Tyreek Hill got his first touchdown since week 1, so that was a huge thing for Hunter.
Also, Tua's funny tackle. I forgot to mention that actually.
Oh my God, yeah.
He tried using his
helmet
head again.
Yeah, dude.
He did come out and say like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, he's
So
like,
at
that's
least he
poor
said it this time.
tackling.
Mhm.
He even put his head down.
No, I'm just kidding. We hope that he continues to be safe, but that was not safe.
Huge win though for the Dolphins. I think that was their first win since before Tua went down.
I think they're 4 and what? 4 and 5?
They're 3-6.
Or 3-6.
Okay. Yeah, they've been on the struggle bus. So, and the Rams, they were apparently the only Florida team out of like every NFL, basketball, and college football team to win all season, or that weekend. Sorry, because they were like 0-11. Yeah, basically. Florida. I mean, if you're counting Florida State for damn sure all season, right?
Florida State, the Jaguars, Miami. They all suck.
But like you said, let's get into the pick'em standings. So we all did pretty good. Like you said, Feisty, did we all get all of our picks right?
Yeah, we did.
I think Wes was the only one that didn't have his team win, but he got the cover. So we all get points. I got the most because of those 6.5 from the Patriots. Who would have doubted them? I mean, that was such a good pick.
Me.
So now I'm at 81, got a 10-point lead over Feisty, 71. And Wes has got some points. I feel like it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It seems like at this point that we were like, man, Wesley's in the negative. He's not even over 10 points. So he's on his way up.
He's a chugga 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 choo choo.
Might need to pick up the choo-choos a little bit, but he's getting there. He's moving. That's the important part.
I like that better.
Didn't think it was that funny. All right, I'll take it. Well, let's get into our picks. My lock for this week is the Vikings over the Titans. So back-to-back weeks picking against the Titans.
No surprise.
Sticking with my thing. And then my underdog this week is the Patriots.
Omer.
5-point underdogs at home against the Rams. So we'll have to see it. Unfortunately, I'm really scared because that Gonzo flu is a real deal. And he's probably going to match up against Puka on my fantasy team. So I don't know.
Who do you want to win, fantasy or your?
I think Gonzo should match up against Cooper. That's what I think personally. I think it's a better matchup right there. But so we'll have to see. I like us being at home. I think that we might have a chance. And I don't know. Screw it. Let's go for some points. I got a little bit of a lead. Let's see if I can extend it a little bit more. And then my random is the Packers, who are 6.5 favorites over the Bears. Good pick.
Well, hey, I know I say this every week, but let's get into the winning picks now. We got my lock this week will be the Lions, who are 13-point favorites over the Jaguars.
I think that's the biggest spread of the season for any of our picks, at least.
Let's hope for not another Jared Goff 5-interception game or whatever it was.
Well, if he's getting 5 interceptions, you know what the quarterback on the other side's doing.
10.
10.
10. Number 10 is getting 10.
There you go.
Underdog for this week is the Commanders, who are 3.5 favorites over the Eagles. Got to pick them after they got their ass.
How dare you?
Steelers.
How dare you? Fly Eagles, fly,
picking
baby.
Against the Eagles. You should be. Oh, I see. That's your new team?
Fly, nope, but fly Eagles, fly, baby.
Nice.
All right, and then we got the random here. It's me or Kyle. Somebody's getting points this week. Somebody's not. I got the Rams, who are 5-point favorites over the Patriots.
All right. I love it.
Hey, man, I love those picks, man. I just got to say, great pick. Let's get into the winning picks, as Wesley always says. I'm riding this train until the wheels fall off. the best team
I
in
think they've
Dallas.
fallen off.
No, not yet. Not yet.
The other. I see what you mean.
The other best, not so
Okay.
best team in Dallas. I picked my lock this week as no surprise, the Texans. They're 7.5 favorites over the Cowgirls. I started saying that for once. That's how bad it is, guys. Like, I literally started saying that. Dementia is catching up to the whole team, so let's continue that train. My underdog this week is gonna be the Colts. They're 4-point underdogs against the Jets. Jets. Suck.
Good pick.
So anytime you can go against the Jets, I think I've gone against them. So F the Jets, F Aaron Rodgers. Robert Saleh deserves better. Anyways, random pick. I'm doing it, man. I don't know what it is, but I'm going with the teams that I hate the most. The 49ers, who are 6.5 favorites over the Seahawks. Christian McCaffrey, welcome back. Should have been back like 5-6 weeks ago, but let's continue this hot train and get me back in that playoffs contention. 1%
I think you have
chance.
as good of a chance as the Cowboys to make the playoffs this season.
We might move up to 2% after beating Wesley this week. So, bada boom, bada.
I checked it. You're still at 1%.
Oh.
Guy had to fact check you there. He had to check to make sure.
That's what I do, baby. And that's what we do. That is another great episode of your favorite Couch Potatoes. Make sure to check out the episodes on YouTube and Spotify dropping Thursday to get you ready for your football week. And then check out all the clips, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube shorts. But most of all, make sure you enter the giveaway, baby. It is finally up. We have been talking about it for weeks now, hinting at it. So we got 2 free tickets to the lower bowl section of the Utah Jazz Stadium. Got to enjoy it for the in-season tournament. Get to see the alien Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul and see if the Jazz can, pull off an upset. It would be awesome to see. So
or not.
Either way, enjoy yourself at the game. Just make sure to follow the page, like the post, tag your friends, share it on your story, and we will enter you in for the drawing. So thank you very much for the support there. And thank you guys. We'll catch you next time on the couch. See ya.